ISO 31000 Risk Management System Consultancy Implementation Training and Certification Support, presented by URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited. Welcome to the URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss an increasingly important subject for organizations across the world. ISO 31000 Risk Management. Every organization faces risks. Risks can come from operations, finance, technology, cyber security, supply chains, suppliers, customers, regulatory requirements, projects, human resources, environmental factors, business continuity, reputation, and many other areas. The question is not whether your organization has risks. The real question is how efficiently are you identifying, understanding, evaluating, treating, monitoring, and communicating those risks. This is where ISO 31000 risk management guidelines can provide a structured and internationally recognized framework. In this video we will explain what ISO 31000 is, why risk management is important, the principles of ISO 31000, the ISO 31000 framework, the risk management process, risk identification and analysis and evaluation, risk treatment, risk monitoring and review, risk communication and consultation, risk management documentation, integration of risk management into business processes, training and implementation, common mistakes organizations make, and how URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited can support organizations with ISO 31000 consultancy, implementation, training, and certifications related support. So let us begin. What is ISO 31000? ISO 31000 is an international guideline for risk management. It provides principles, a framework, and a process that organizations can use to manage risks. One important point should be clearly understood. ISO 31000 is primarily a risk management guideline rather than a traditional certifiable management system standard. Organizations commonly use ISO 31000 to establish and improve their risk management approach. It can be applied to virtually any organization regardless of industry, size, geographical location, business model, ownership structure, or complexity. For example, ISO 31000 principles can be applied in manufacturing, engineering, oil and gas, power and energy, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, information technology, banking and finance, logistics, transportation, aerospace, automotive, food industries, government organizations, educational institutions, and many other sectors. The fundamental objective is simple: to help organizations make better decisions in the presence of uncertainty. Risk management should therefore not be considered merely as an activity performed by a risk department. It should become a part of organizational decision making. Now, second, what is risk? Before understanding risk management, let us understand the meaning of risk. In the ISO 31000 context, risk is associated with the effect of uncertainty on objectives. This is a very important concept. Every organization has objectives. For example, a manufacturing company may have a production target. A construction company may have a project completion target. A pharmaceutical company may have quality and regulatory objectives. An IT company may have availability and cyber security objectives. A logistic company may have delivery and customer service objectives. Whenever uncertainty can affect these objectives, we have a risk. The effect could be negative, but uncertainty can also create opportunities. Therefore, effective risk management should not only focus on avoiding threats, it should also help organizations identify opportunities and make informed decisions. Now, why is risk management important? Let's consider a simple example. Imagine a manufacturing company depends heavily on one critical supplier. The supplier suddenly experiences a major production problem. The result could be production delays, customer complaints, missed delivery schedules, financial losses, contractual penalties, and reputational damage. Was the supplier problem itself the only issue? Not necessarily. The bigger issue may have been that the organization had not properly identified and evaluated its supplier dependency risk. A good risk management system could have identified who are the critical suppliers, What happens if a supplier fails? What is the probability of failure? What would be the business impact? Do we have alternate suppliers? Do we maintain safety stocks? Do we have contingency arrangements? This is the practical value of risk management. Risk management helps organizations move from let us react when something goes wrong to let us understand what could go wrong and prepare appropriate responses. Now, next is fourth, ISO 31000 principles. One of the most important aspects of ISO 31000 is its set of principles for effective risk management. Risk management should create and protect value. It should be an integral part of organizational activities. It should be structured and comprehensive. It should be customized to the organization. It should be inclusive. It should be dynamic. It should use the best available information. It should consider human and cultural factors. And it should be continually improved. Let's understand these concepts practically. First, creating and protecting value. Risk management should contribute to organizational objectives. It should not become a paperwork for the sake of compliance. The objective is better decision making and improved organizational performance. Second, integration. Risk management should be integrated into business activities. For example, risk considerations should be included in strategic planning, procurement, project management, production, maintenance, financial planning, supplier management, and change management. Third, structured and comprehensive. A structured approach helps ensure that important risks are not overlooked. Fourth, customized. Every organization is different. A pharmaceutical company and a construction company will not have exactly the same risk profile. Fifth, inclusive. Relevant stakeholders should have opportunities to contribute information and perspectives. Sixth, dynamic. Risk can change, new risks can emerge, existing risks can increase or decrease. Therefore, risk management must be dynamic. Now, seventh, best available information. Risk decisions should be based on reliable information wherever reasonably available. Eighth, human and cultural factors. People influence how risks are perceived and managed. Organizational culture, competence, communication, and behavior can significantly affect risk management. Ninth, control improvement. Risk management should improve over time. Organizations should learn from incidents, near misses, audits, customer complaints, changes, and actual risk events. Now, next is ISO 31000 framework. Now, let's discuss the ISO 31000 framework. A risk management framework provides the organizational arrangements required to integrate risk management. It should involve leadership and commitment. Top management plays a very important role. Management should establish the organization's approach to risk management and ensure that responsibilities are clearly defined. The framework should also include integration, design, implementation, evaluation, and improvement. Let's take an example. Suppose a company wants to establish enterprise risk management. Management should first understand the organization's context, then establish risk management responsibilities, then develop suitable processes, then implement those processes, then evaluate whether they are effective, and finally improve the framework. This creates a continuous management cycle. Now, the ISO 31000 risk management process. Now we come to one of the most important parts of this video, the risk management process. The process generally includes communication and consultation, scope, context and criteria, risk assessment, risk treatment, monitoring and review, and recording and reporting. Let us discuss each step. Step 1, communication and consultation. Risk management should not happen in isolation. Relevant stakeholders should be involved, for example, top management, department heads, employees, technical experts, suppliers, customers, regulators, and other relevant stakeholders. Communication helps ensure that risk information is understood. Consultation helps obtain knowledge from people who understand the process. For example, an organization assessing production risk should involve production personnel. For cybersecurity risks, IT and information security personnel should participate. For supply chain risks, procurement and logistic teams should be involved. Now step 2, scope, context and criteria. Before assessing risk, the organization should understand what it is trying to achieve. This involves defining the scope, internal context, external context and risk criteria. For example, if we are assessing risk associated with a new manufacturing project, we need to understand project objectives, technical requirements, regulatory requirements, budget, schedule, resources, stakeholders, supply chain, and operational environment. The organization should also determine how risk will be evaluated. For example, what level of risk is acceptable, what risk requires management action, what risk requires immediate escalation. These decisions form part of the organization's risk criteria. Now step 3, risk identification. Now we ask what can happen. This is risk identification. Organizations should identify risks that could affect objectives. Possible sources include equipment failure, human error, supplier failure, cyber security incidents, fire, natural disasters, regulatory changes, financial instability, quality failures, production interruptions, data loss, project delays, and many others. Risk identification methods can include brainstorming, interviews, workshops, historical data analysis, incident analysis, process mapping, checklists, SWOT analysis, scenario analysis, and expert judgment. The objective is to identify relevant uncertainties before they become major problems. Step 4, risk analysis. Once risks have been identified, the next question is how significant is the risk? Risk analysis involves understanding the nature and characteristics of the risk. This may include considering likelihood, consequences, existing controls, sources of uncertainty, and other relevant factors. A simple organization may use a qualitative approach. For example, low, medium, high, and critical. A more mature organization may use quantitative analysis. For example, it may estimate financial consequences, probability distributions, or potential losses. The method should be appropriate to the organization's needs and complexities. Now step 5, risk evaluation. After analysis, risks are compared with the organization's risk criteria. The question becomes, does this risk require treatment? For example, a low risk item may be accepted, a medium risk item may require additional controls, a high risk item may require immediate management attention, a critical risk may require escalation and significant treatment. This creates a basis for prioritizing resources. Now step 6, risk treatment. Risk treatment means selecting and implementing options for addressing risk. Depending on the situation, treatment options may include avoiding the risk, removing the risk source, changing the likelihood, changing the consequences, sharing or transferring the risk, or returning the risk by informed decision. Let us use a simple example. Suppose the company identifies a high risk associated with a critical single source supplier. Possible treatments could include developing an alternate supplier, maintaining strategic inventory, improving supplier monitoring, creating contractual safeguards, or developing contingency arrangements. Risk treatment should not simply be documented. Please keep this in mind. It should actually be implemented. Okay. Now step 7, monitoring and review. Risks are not static. This is extremely important. A risk that was low 6 months ago may become high today. For example, a supplier's financial position may deteriorate. A new regulation may be introduced. A technology vulnerability may emerge. A new competitor may enter the market. Therefore, organizations should regularly monitor and review risks. Monitoring can include risk indicator, internal audits, management reviews, incident reporting, supplier performance, customer complaints, compliance monitoring, and performance data. Now step 8, recording and reporting. Risk information should be properly recorded and communicated. Organizations may maintain risk register, risk assessment reports, risk treatment plans, risk matrices, risk dashboards, risk action tracker, and management reports. Documentation should be practical. The purpose is to support decision making, not simply to create paperwork. Now next is risk register. One of the most useful practical tools is the risk register. A risk register may include fields such as risk ID, risk description, risk source, affected objectives, existing controls, likelihood, consequence, risk rating, risk owner, treatment action, target date, residual risk, and status. For example, risk, critical supplier failure, likelihood, medium, consequence like high, industrial risk rating like high, treatment, develop an alternate supplier, risk owner, procurement manager, target date defined by the management, residual risk to be reassessed after implementation. This simple structure can help organizations maintain visibility of important risks. Now, risk ownership. What is this? Another critical element is the risk ownership. Every significant risk should have appropriate accountability. A risk owner should understand what the risk is, why it matters, what controls exist, what treatment is required, who is responsible for actions, and how the risk will be monitored. Without clear ownership, risk registers can become documents that are updated but not acted upon. Please keep this in mind. Okay, so effective risk management requires accountability. The next is integrating ISO 31000 into business processes. A mature organization does not maintain risk management as a separate activity. Instead, risk thinking becomes part of normal business processes. For example, strategic planning. What could prevent us from achieving strategic objectives? Procurement. What supplier quality, cost, delivery, or geopolitical risk exist? Production. What could interrupt production? Maintenance. What equipment failures could affect operations? Human resources. What competency or workforce risks exist? Information technology. What cyber security, availability, and data risks exist? Projects. What technical, cost, schedule, and contractual risks exist? Compliance. What regulatory changes could affect organization? This is where ISO 31000 becomes particularly powerful. It can be integrated with other management systems such as ISO 9001 quality management, ISO 14001 environmental management, ISO 45001 occupational health and safety, ISO/IEC 27001 information security, ISO 22001 business continuity, ISO 50001 energy management, ISO 22000 food safety, and other organizational management frameworks. Now, 10th, common risk management mistakes. Let's now discuss some common mistakes. Mistake number 1, treating risk management as paperwork. A risk register alone does not create effective risk management. Mistake number 2, identifying risks but not treating them. Organizations sometimes identify hundreds of risks but take little action. The objective should be effective decision making and treatment. Mistake number 3, no risk ownership. Means if nobody owns the risk, accountability becomes unclear. Then mistake number 4, using the same risk rating for everything. Risk evaluation should consider the organization's objectives and context. Mistake number 5, not updating risk. Risk registers should not be static documents. Mistake number 6, ignoring opportunities. Risk management should also consider uncertainty that could create beneficial outcomes. Mistake number 7, management is not allowed. Risk management requires appropriate leadership and commitment. Now, ISO 31001 training. Training is an important part of successful implementation. Organizations may require different levels of training. For employees, this could include ISO 31001 risk awareness training for risk professionals, risk assessment and risk treatment training for auditors and management system professionals, ISO 31001 internal auditor or risk management assessment training. Means advanced training can include enterprise risk management, risk analysis, risk assessment techniques, business continuity risk, supply chain risk, operational risk, and risk-based decision making. Training should be practical and relevant to the organization's operations. Now, URGS ISO 31000 consultancy and implementation support. This brings us to the role of URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited. URGS provides consultancy, implementation, training, and certification related support for organizations looking to strengthen their risk management practices based on ISO 31000. Our support can include ISO 31001, 31000 gap assessment, means understanding the current maturity of your risk management approach, risk management framework development, means establishing an appropriate organizational framework, risk identification and assessment, means identifying and evaluating organizational risks, risk register development, means creating practical and structured risk registers, risk treatment planning, means developing appropriate risk treatment strategies, documentation support means developing policies, procedures, methodologies, templates, and records. Then training, ISO 31000 awareness, risk assessment, and auditor-oriented training. Internal assessment support, evaluating implementation and identifying improvement opportunities. Management review and improvement support, helping organizations strengthen their risk management approach. And where applicable, URGS can also support organizations in understanding suitable third-party assessment or certification pathways, while recognizing that ISO 31000 itself is a guideline and is not generally used as a conventional certifiable management system standard. Now, why choose URGS International? Effective risk management is not about eliminating every risk. It is about helping organizations understand uncertainty, make informed decisions, protect objectives, and create sustainable value. At URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited, we focus on practical implementation, industry relevance, training, documentation, and control improvement. Whether you are a small business, manufacturing company, engineering organization, EPC contractor, IT company, pharmaceutical organization, healthcare organization, oil and gas company, construction company, or multinational enterprise, a structured approach to risk management can strengthen your organizational resilience. At last closing, if your organization is looking for ISO 31000 risk management consultancy, implementation support, risk assessment, training, documentation, internal assessment, or certification and third-party assessment support, you can contact URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited. Our email ID is info@urgsiso.com. Our mobile/WhatsApp number is +917359458455. Do not forget to like this video, share it with your colleagues, and subscribe to the URGS YouTube channel for more videos on ISO standards, risk management, certification, inspection, training, compliance, and management systems. Thank you for watching. URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited, building competence, strengthening compliance, supporting organizational excellence. See you in the next video.